What's up, guys? It's Matterz, and we're going to be talking about the next couple DLC maps coming to Black Ops 3 Zombies. We actually potentially have DLC 2 and DLC 3 hinted within Richthofen's sort of crazy multi-dimensional map thing that was found within Shadows of Evil, and they actually reveal also the potential death locations of the Black Ops 1 characters, obviously with the help of Richthofen and the summoning key from the Origins crew. Now, we'll go into the map in a second, but I just want to say again, these are definitely not confirmed maps, but based on what we've seen so far, especially because of the fact that Richthofen basically killed himself within the Giant, and Dempsey basically killed himself as well within Dreisendrach. Those two events sort of reveal that the next two events will also happen within these locations, and you'll understand why in a second. I'll pull up the map on screen, and there are 4 different coordinates on this map, and the first one is the Giant. Second one, Dreisendrach. Already you have 2 of the locations where these, Origins characters died. And you would think the next 2 would, presumably be the next 2 Origins characters, Takeo and Nikolai. But the problem is, the next 2 locations are sort of weird, and they don't really fit with these characters and what we would have expected these characters to go to. So next 2 locations are obviously POMPEII. I've talked about POMPEII a lot. And then the other one is actually, I saw this from Mr. D Scrubs, Stalingrad in Germany, which is pretty weird. I guess it could sort of be towards like the Russian side, because that actual battle was fought with Russia. It was between Nazi Germany and Soviet Union, Soviet Russia. So that would make sense for Nikolai, but Takeo in Italy, in POMPEII, in the lost city of POMPEII, doesn't really make sense. So I'll read you guys some stuff on POMPEII here. There's not a lot about POMPEII. I'll show you guys a picture, whatever. POMPEII, ancient Roman town near Naples. If you guys know, the huge volcano, the town was buried, blah, blah, blah. A ton of different stuff. There's ruins. There's certain areas that still exist. It's a huge tourist destination. Actual history, it's sort of weird how it all works. It's not a lot of like true history that relates towards zombies in general, and the history that is there. I think we've talked about something with Frankenstein there, but nothing really that relates towards Takeo. It's just so weird. So that one's really up in the air. But the Battle of Stalingrad, again, between Germany and the Soviet Union, obviously Russia, within, the dates here if you want, 1942 to 1943, it sort of does make sense. It's along the same time period. If anything, this is the map we're going to get next, because this is around the Giant and Dreisendrach period. If you don't know, the Giant and Dreisendrach, they're only 15 days apart, and that was like from a quote and all that stuff. So 1942, 1943 definitely could be a time for DLC 2, and this is definitely where Nikolai could die. Obviously Nikolai, he's Russian, something with Russia there. It sort of does make sense. Now the whole Dempsey thing with Dreisendrach, we're not so sure that relation, and then the obviously Richthofen within the Giant, that sort of makes sense, but Dempsey is American. But something else must have happened there. What we're getting at here is that it doesn't necessarily need to be the characters' like main locations. Like we've talked about in Takeo, going back to his emperor and going back to his main country. He's basically since the beginning, since World at War, he's always wanted to go back to his emperor, serve the duty. He was put out into like this Group 935 testing to come back to the emperor with information. That was sort of like the backstory of that. Obviously, we have the new Origins characters, the new Takeo, almost being manipulated by Richthofen, and again, relating back to the Dreisendrach ending cutscene, you have Dempsey fighting Richthofen. Takeo agrees with Richthofen, and there's also a Takeo quote that states, "We must end our old past lives to actually continue the future." So Takeo agrees with Richthofen by saying, "We need to kill ourselves to get rid of the past that was, that once was within Black Ops 1 and World at War." So Takeo, again, he's going along with this, but we're not so sure what his whole situation is now with POMPEII in Italy, because if these locations reveal the deaths of each of the characters, where is Takeo going? Why is Takeo there? Isn't his main goal is to go back to the Emperor? If anything, his Black Ops 1 character would want to go back to the Emperor or something like that. I mean, unless he's against his will, unless something would happen there. Again, this is sort of just a theory at this point. The locations are real. The coordinates to the locations are real. I mean, we just don't know why that's the case. We just don't know what the hell the problem is with that, because you have these locations, the Giant, obviously where Richthofen died. You have Der Eisendrache where Dempsey died. So like I said, it wouldn't make sense for the next two locations, would be the places where the other two characters die. And as of now, the locations, especially with Takio and Pompeii, they don't really make sense. But again, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll do some more information, more connections between Pompeii and, the Battle of Stalingrad within, Russia and Germany, the Eastern Front of World War II, I guess, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens. Right now, I just wanted to bring this to you guys that these are possible locations. Maybe we'll do actual map theories in general, because we went into the storyline in this video, but I didn't really talk about like what the map would actually like provide us and give us, like the actual map features. Because again, the story was great, but the actual maps are what counts. So maybe we'll talk about that. But as of now, it's pretty cool, and yeah, definitely could be the next two locations for the DLC 2 and DLC 3 zombie maps. So tell me guys what you think, and I'll see you guys later.